Morning. Today we are going to discuss about mesh analysis in this session. So before going to discuss about the mesh analysis, we can recall the previous session what we have discussed. I think DC we are discussed about the DC circuit, what are the component it consists, and that is components we are discussed conductor, resistor, inductor, capacitor, and along with this Ohm's law. So Ohm's law we know that. V is equal to IR. Normally, we can say it is a V is equal to IR, and definition of Ohm's law, and the unit of Ohm's law, and also along with this Kirchhoff voltage law and Kirchhoff current law. All right. So these are the topics we are discussed in the previous class. So today we are going to discuss about mesh analysis. What is mesh analysis? Tips and solution, some problem with solution and real world application of the mesh analysis. So next one we are exploring what is mesh analysis. It is a method to analyze a DC circuit applying Kirchhoff voltage law to mesh analysis in a circuit. So mesh means it is a loop that does not contain any other loop within it. That is, if the loop started at a point and end with the same point, that we can say it is the loop. This, for example, the point is started from I1 and it crosses the 2 ohm and along with this 1 ohm with the crosses the 5 volt and again it ended at a I1. So this we called as the loop, and also we can say it is the mesh. So advantages of mesh means it reduces the number of equations comparably node analysis. And steps to follow: first you have to identify the mesh and assign the mesh currents and apply the KVL and solve the equations and calculate the branch currents. So these are the steps we can follow to perform the mesh analysis. That is, first we have to find out the mesh, how many meshes are there in the circuit. That is, for example, we are mentioning the circuit here. It is consists of 3 loops. That is loop 1, loop 2, and then loop 3. So we can consider the current also. That is, for the loop 1 we can consider I1. For the loop 2 we can consider the I2 and I3. So here the mentioning is the clockwise direction, and we can mention the direction anti-clockwise also. So normally we can mention or we are preferring clockwise direction for each loop, the current flow in the particular loops. So after that we have to apply each loop KVL. Why? Because so KVL it is the application of KVL and KCL only we can discuss the mesh and the node. So it is the application of KVL. So we can apply for the each loop KVL, and that is KVL apply to loop 1, KVL apply to loop 2, and KVL apply to loop 3. We can find out the equation for 3 equations, and after that we have to solve these equations by using normal equations or by Cramer's law rule. So we can find out the unknown current of I1, I2, I3. So this is the steps we have to follow in the mesh analysis. And the simple problem we can here I have considered a 2 loop problem, that is solve the mesh problem and find the branch currents I1 and I2. And you have to write for this first. I think for the last class in KCL, we discussed about the loop, how to find out the loop currents. That is the current flow from A to B. Then we can say it is the minus, and it is current flow from B to A. Then we can mention in the positive. So like based on this, we are writing the equations: minus 30 I1, minus 10 I1, minus I2. Why? That is the 10 is 10 ohm resistors between the loop I1 and I2. So you can write I1 minus I2, and the voltages enter into the positive or negative. Then that's why we are mentioning plus 20, which is equal to 0. So already we know that is KVL is drop voltage plus total voltage, which is equal to 0. Summation, that is summation of voltages, drop voltage, which is equal to 0. Based on this, we are writing this equations, and find after that we have to solve it and find the equation of number 1, and this is for the number solution for the other solutions, that is find the equation of number 2, and after that we have to find the equations value of I1 and I2. The normal equation we have to follow, or otherwise you can follow the Cramer's rule method. So in Cramer's rule method, we have to find out the formula, that is V is equal to IR, and fill the value of R and unknown values of I1, I2. What are the voltages available in this meshes? Then we can mention in the voltage. So first we have to find out the equation of del and del I1 and del I2, del I3, whatever the loop we have. So if you are considering two loop, then we have to calculate the del I1 and del I2. So if you find the value of I1, so formula is I1 is equal to del I1 divided by del, and for the I2 is equal to del I2 by del. So likewise we have to find out the value of I1 and I2. Then another example I have mentioned here. So I think you are understand about how to find out the meshes equations and the solving method. And this is the empathy. We know that the empathy of the method, first we have to find out the objective and find the value of that is find the solution, problem solution, and get the feedback from so many methods and analyze. And we have to confirm it the need, that is clear understanding about the current direction and voltage direction, and we have to follow the step by step. We have to approach the problem in the based on the empathize. First we have to empathize the problem, and we have to define the problem based on the design thinking based. We have to define the problem, that is a problem state and identification, and find out the find the core problem based on the empathy, and we have defined the problem, and we can then we know that the next stages of DT, it is ideate, and make a prototype, and we have to test it. So for that we have to follow the that stages we have to apply in the real world analysis. So here I have mentioned a few mesh analysis real world application. One is the power supply design and electronics devices, automotive system, and the renewable energy system. Here I have mentioned the power supply design and electronics devices, and along with this the renewable energy system. So these are the applications, that is real world application for the mesh analysis. And summarization, I think for the summarization, we are discussing about what is recalling of the previous session, and how to follow the steps. We have to write the equation for the mesh, what is mesh. So all those things we are discussed in this session. Along with this, we are discussing about the real world application of the mesh analysis. I think you all know about and deep knowledge we will learn through this session. So see you in the next session. Thank you all.